Doing this tintable Raptor liner. I'm going to do it white. And I'm going to do it on this truck. So we shall see how it turns out. I primed it with epoxy primer, and I just did it really lightly so you can kind of see some of that. But it was thinner washed with lacquer thinner and sanded down to like 150 grit. And anyway, we'll see how this is going to turn out here. So first off, the gun. It's a really cheap gun. Had to put some Teflon around this, screw it in, jam nut on there. It's non-tapered thread, same with that. Same with this, put Teflon on there, and then the quality of the factory fitting here is so poor that my regulator for spraying won't even make an airtight connection, but it just leaks a little bit. Anyway, we'll see about spraying this at higher pressures. So basically you get 4 quarts of the liner, 4 quart bottles, and 32 ounces of this. So it's 8 ounces of this per bottle of that. Shake it up, and then the paint shop gave me some white pigment to put in it. So I'm supposed to divide whatever they put in that can by 4 and stick that in there with it. Masked off. I'm going to put the rhino liner down along that bottom strip there, and then just across the top of the bed here. Take your air hose and blow everything down good with it, and just make sure none of your stuff blows off. So I'll do the top of that. Of course, same thing over here. Then what I did is I primed it yesterday, and I painted that strip there, oversprayed a little bit. So what I'm gonna do now is go back, scuff that up here and there, and wipe it down with a tack cloth, wash it off, and then we'll be ready to mix this stuff up and start painting. So I'm gonna do 3 quarts, and then before I do the 4th one, I'll start at my doors. And before I do the 4th one, I'm gonna cut this open. I'm gonna mask it off. I'm gonna spray that little bottom step across there. All right, so the guy from the paint store told me to use this PPG 4241 white. Divide it in 4 equal parts, as I recall. Either that or 3.2 ounces. I can't remember. So we'll mix it up and see what it does. The bill was 16 ounces. So I don't know. Anyway, this is just straight white pigment. I already shook this up. So this is, I believe, I don't know, some kind of 2K pigment, I'm not sure. Anyway, we'll see how much he sold me first. Okay, so there's 14 ounces. So if he said 3.2, I guess that'd be about right. So there's the pigment. And I hear guys talk about taking this stuff. It doesn't mix very well, so they say. So I'm thinking maybe I might just pour it back and forth there. So here's the hardener. And then they want 8 ounces of this. So they got a little cup here with a line on it. So there's 8 ounces hardener, and I said clean the gun out in between each time you spray. And supposed to pour this in there and shake it for 2 minutes. And then I'm going to pour 3.2 ounces of this pigment in here. We'll just go 3 ounces. Not a whole lot of room left in here. So I'll just put a dab more for spillage or whatever's still left in the cup there. Now from then on we should be able to do this, have it match. So you say shake it for 2 minutes. So it's been close to, I don't know, 2 minutes. So I made this with a wire, bent it around. Suppose it'd probably help if I took and plugged it in. All right. So I'm going to shake this a little bit more now since we stirred it up. And by the way, these blue nitrile gloves, I used some the other day with this lacquer thinner, and that's what you're supposed to use to clean this stuff up with. The lacquer thinner didn't even touch these, so I'd say I'm just going to use these things. And I'm going to try to see how this stuff turns out, spraying at 70 psi. They say like 40 to 65 depending. But I want a finer texture, I've decided, so we're gonna try to kind of see here what happens. There we go, just hook it up to air hose and go for it. So this is how I'm cleaning this stuff. cleaned out my first bottle pretty good. Put your finger over that hole, shake it, and then go spray it out. Do that a couple times. You wipe the end of it off, because this stuff's gonna harden on you if you don't. And I figure the next thing I'm gonna do is a little experiment. So I take each bottle, I put an ounce or so of lacquer thinner in it. Shake it up real good. I just got an old crappy concrete slab under the truck. I'm gonna see how well this stuff does. Just cleaning your bottles out and dumping it on the concrete. I suppose if a guy started to do a lot of this stuff and kept having extra bottles, he might have a nice floor. Or this might just be a total wreck and disaster and nasty mess. But the stuff I've done already, it's dry. Or starting to dry, so we'll see. Suppose you could leave it turned upside down and just let it do its thing, but nothing fancy. But I figure, you know, if you got a nice white floor and you drop a tool under your truck, hey, you can see the tool. Either way, no matter what happens, it's not the end of the world. I'm sure it'll dry. So those of you that wanted to get a better look at this, this is what I made for mixing. I just took a wire like you put ceiling tiles up with and made a triangle, so your bottle will go like that to get it in. So leave that open. That's about 1.5 inches. That's about a 1 inch gap, 1 inch, you know, so. So now, kind of wonder if I should put a little bit of epoxy thinner in it. We'll do this right quick. Hopefully I don't make a giant mess in my truck. I think that turned out pretty decent. Go do the other side. And it's finally done. Let's put it on a little extra heavy back here, top of these rails and stuff. I kind of think I should have stopped my rhino liner from here up instead of from here up, because I don't really like the way that looks. But, you know, I did it down along those places where the rocks hit underneath. And that turned out good. I suppose I could have went up further, but did down through there. Went ahead and did underneath the door along there. Just kind of free-handed it because you know you're gonna get dinged up around here. This other side you can see a little better. And I did mix it just like the paint shop said. It was, you know, worked out to about 3.2 ounces. And by the time I got done, I kept mixing. And I had exactly the same amount in every batch, within a freaking 1/10 of an ounce or less. I mean, probably closer than that. So, I don't know. I wish it was whiter. But that, yeah, that's about 3.1, 3.2 ounces of that white per quart. And that was the PPG, I believe, 4241 white pigment. So, I don't know. Any questions or comments? Let me know. It's kind of hard to do this with text, so I'll show you what I'm talking about. So, the sides of these corrugations, if you look at them, let's see if I can do this here. So you've got, I don't know, probably about a 40-45 degree angle here. So what you're going to do, and this is exaggerated of course, you'll hold your gun like that. So when I'm talking about working from front to back, so you're spraying this direction away from you and toward you. So if we turn around here, I'll try to show this online. You want to spray your bed back and forth, and you know, you do a few feet at a time or whatever, but you spray one, and then you go up, spray the other. You go up, spray the other. And then when you get all the way across the bed, you want to turn around and turn your gun the other way, and you come across and you spray one, then you spray the other. And then, because I noticed that if I was spraying straight down, it just seemed kind of like I was missing some stuff. It didn't, you know, there were some light spots in it. So at least you're sticking it, and then the overspray's getting on top of this from this side and that side. But doing that, you're getting a good coat here. And then, you know, you can go up and down when you're done just to kind of mist over it. And then, you know, you can back up then and go back and forth. And if you want a heavier texture, you know, so you shoot, they say shoot 1.5 feet away from it. Well, you know, I was shooting about 8 or 10 inches. But they say if you want a heavier texture, then you're going to get up, you'll back up, so you, per the manufacturer, you shoot 1.5 feet, so whatever, I'm shooting closer. But if you want a heavier texture, you basically want to kind of lob droplets. So you do your first coat, and then you'll back way up, and then you'll just kind of spit stuff out. So you shoot like that, and just it'll splatter, you know. But beware, what do you have masked off, and where is it going to go? And then this little shadow here, you know, I did a patch panel, and it's not perfect, but you know, on camera, boy, it really shows up here. But you know, you get it in the right angle, whatever. Not so bad. Got a couple carriage bolts over there. These carriage bolts here, so I didn't like these original, I don't know if they're original, but I didn't like those bolts. So what I did is I went down to the hardware store, got some carriage bolts. I sandblasted them. I guess you could sand them. Then I washed them off with brake clean. Leaves no residue. And then I just hammered them in there. So hopefully that'll help.